Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Flow. This is a podcast where we aim to learn and spread awareness of the lethal effects of period poverty. It's a public health crisis that affects hundreds of thousands of girls around the world. Follow along on our journey as we go with the flow.
Okay, so starting off, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. My name is Lysne Tait, and I am the executive director and founder of Helping Women, Period. We are a nonprofit that provides menstrual products to homeless and low income people in mostly the Michigan area.
Cool. So, for the flow listeners, I just wanted to uh, say, Helping Women is working to provide products like you said. But I wanted to mention that on your website, I saw that in 2019, you guys distributed over 508,000 pads, tampons, wipes, bladder control pads, and panty liners, which is
Wow.
really, which is a lot, and that's also really cool. And we're like in March, right? So 2021 so far, you guys have distributed 31,978 tampons, 69,336 pads, and 2,882 delivery bags. What do you guys include in a delivery bag?
Delivery bags have 20 pads or 20 tampons in them. I have a whole slew of sewing groups that like to sew bags for us. So they're all hand made with drawstring tops. And we also have some black Ziplocs so that they're you can't see inside of them and they're not as flowery. So some of our trans um, clients prefer those because they're not girly.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
So yeah, and in 2020, even with the pandemic, or maybe because of the pandemic, we distributed almost 600,000 items last year. So um, we've been busier than ever with everything being closed down and nobody being able to get to what they need to get. So,
Right. Um, Talia, right?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So you just put me on the spot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Um, so you mentioned that like the pandemic actually um, helped you be able to distribute more menstrual hygiene products. Um, why do you think that is?
well, unfortunately, a lot of more people were out of work and couldn't buy the product that they needed. And then with the lack of stimulus package and the end of the extra little unemployment bonus that people were getting, we have had just an increase in the places that we give and an increase in the need. So we used to just do 2 food banks a month, um, where I actually hand products to people. And there's about 250 families in each food bank. And now we're doing 4 food banks a month because there's just so much. So the need is so great.
Wow, that's really incredible.
Yeah, that's. Do you think you've gotten like a lot more donations since
Oh
the
yeah.
pandemic?
Yeah. We do well, we used to have Dropbox locations so people could drop off product that they didn't like, they tried it and they didn't like it or just bought extra. And because of the pandemic, a lot of those places to drop things off have been closed, but people have been mailing them to me. I probably get 1 package a day when I go to the post office. And if they only knew what was inside those boxes, right? Uh, but um, we do, my whole nonprofit is funded probably 80% by individual donations. And then we have a 10% grant, and the other 10% is in kind donations. So those product donations that people do.
We were wondering, period poverty is something that is not really talked about a lot. Um, while doing this project, it's been hard for us to sometimes get some good information, but how do you kind of hope to make it more known that period poverty is such a big issue?
I think the more we talk about it and the more we educate people about periods and poverty, I mean, really, period poverty gets a double stigma because it's stigmatized because it's a period and nobody wants to talk about periods, but it's also stigmatized because it's a symptom of poverty. And if we could fix poverty, then we wouldn't have period poverty at all because people would be able to buy the product that they needed. And so that's, I hope that answered your question.
No, it
I
totally
can't
does.
remember what it is now.
No, yeah, no, just like spreading awareness,
Yeah.
basically. You know, just kind of getting the word out there. Yeah, because you know, it's like not even just, you don't have to be homeless even to experience period poverty, right? I mean, it's
Right.
like period products are so expensive that it could happen to anyone, you know,
Exactly.
especially like with COVID and everything, with people being out of work.
Mhm.
That just makes the finances even tighter.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think the way we talk about periods kind of pushes it to the back because, you know, you would talk about um, menstrual hygiene and make it sound so dirty. And so nobody wants to talk about it and nobody wants to bring up the fact that they don't have the product that they need because it's kind of shaming for the person who is having the period if they don't have the product they need to take care of themselves. And um, yeah, it's just, it's so hard.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely worse to get people to talk about this because there's just a lot of people that view it as sort of like a taboo issue. And so I guess my question would be like what or how would you kind of explain the importance of spreading awareness to those people who aren't comfortable talking about it?
Well, you know, none of us would be here if it wasn't for periods. And um, like, really, that's just, it's simple biology, really. It's not, you know, I don't have a period to irritate somebody or to make somebody feel embarrassed. You know, it's just the way I am because I'm a human being. And yeah, I don't know. I look at these like sex ed in schools and they're starting to talk about maybe putting menstruation into the biology curriculum rather than just having a sex ed class, which I think would be awesome because it's part of life.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I remember, oh sorry, like when I had like the whole sex ed, they would like split it into the boys and then the girls, and so like I don't know, I think learning about periods is something that everyone should learn about, you know, and
Well,
then it you
yeah,
can't talk about it.
Yeah.
right. So my daughter is in Beauty and the Beast. They're putting it on the musical next week. And one of the lines in the song is, we don't like what we don't understand. In fact, it scares us. And so if we taught boys at the same time we were teaching girls about it, there would be nothing to make fun of. You know, they wouldn't be able to say, oh, you're on the rag or whatever, because they'd already know that it's not this scary thing that they don't know about.
Yeah, that actually brings up a great point because in schools, like especially in elementary school, I remember like teachers were telling the girls to keep it like exclusive, like no one can know what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your discreet little makeup bag with your stuff in it. Like, you know, no one has to know what's in it.
Hide it in your sleeve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we I don't know about you guys, but for me in like 7th grade health, we sit there and we learn about boy puberty and they go way in depth about like male puberty. And then it's like, "Oh, by the way, girls, you get your period." And you know it, and I mean, it's like really like it's like there's so much that comes with a period too, not to mention like it's just like what you said about like it's just natural, like it really is. I mean, it's just as natural as giving birth or something, right? Like, and
Yeah.
that, you know, like the stigma around it really makes it that much harder for women.
And I really think that oh darn it, I had a point and it's completely gone. Oh
We were talking here, I'll try and jog your memory. We were talking about health and how they go into depth about boy puberty. Yes.
Yes. So one of the things that, society always focuses on the messy part of the period. We never talk about the other 3 weeks. And I was talking to my daughter today in her psychology class. They were talking about menopause and, this change, and it's so scary. And it's the same thing. Like if we knew more or talked more about the other 3 weeks of the period, like what tools do I have so that I know I'm going to be cranky this week. So let me, not schedule as many meetings this week or something, because I know I'm going to have a really short fuse. Or let me make sure that I'm eating the right things so that I'm not so cranky. But if I pay attention and I keep track of my period, if I use one of those period apps or whatever, then I know better about my body, because I'm the expert on my body. And I can understand if somebody else is cranky, I'll go, okay, although I don't want to blame it on the periods, but that it's part of the hormonal
Well,
wave.
yeah, I mean, your period can really take over your body.
Mm-hmm.
It can take over your life for a few days. Depending on just your symptoms. Something that we kind of come across when it comes to talking about period poverty is misconceptions. And I think one misconception is that period poverty, it's a girl problem. Oh, that's a girl problem. I don't got to worry about that or whatever. But what are some big misconceptions that you have come across?
Well, first of all, that periods are dirty. They're not. They're
Mm-hmm.
just as hygienic as any other part of your body, bodily function. And another misconception is that only women menstruate. I deal a lot. I have a lot of trans clients. And so talking to people about, gender and sex are different. So your sex is male or female, but your gender could be this whole anywhere male,
Yeah, definitely.
she, he, the whole spectrum.
Right.
And so just saying that it's a woman problem is not accurate at all. And all of those people who have periods have people who love them who don't have periods. And so if you want to be a good partner, then you're going to have an idea of what a period is and what is going on. And you can't not touch the pads that are clean because they're, you have to be able to go, yeah, I'll run to the store for you. I understand you're stressed and tired. Just tell me what I need to get, or take a picture, because, oh my God, there's so many choices. But, you can only be a better person if you understand what's going on with the other people in your life.
Right. I hope that, a lot of little boys out there, even grown men think that's a girl problem. It's
right.
Okay, what are you going to do when you have a girlfriend? Mm-hmm. And she needs you to go to CVS or something, it's just don't be, I feel like people just are too immature about it sometimes. It's look, women, everybody, a lot of people menstruate, you get a period, whatever, it's your body. But if you're not so fortunate, if you're under some kind of circumstances, you may be experiencing period poverty, and that's where it's okay, this isn't a joke, this isn't a funny thing or just a girl problem, this is a societal issue that needs more attention, and you need to help out, kind of,
right. And period poverty costs everyone money. If you don't have the money to buy the product that you need, then you're going to stay home and you'll lose your job, or you'll lose that day's work, or you won't go to an interview, and then you'll have to keep pulling, welfare. It's an economic thing, really. And so if we can get people the stuff that they need, as well as people who can't afford the product that they need, probably can't don't have health insurance. So if they use a sock or a t-shirt or wear a tampon longer than it's supposed to, they're going to get sick and they're going to have to go to the emergency room or wherever, and it's going to cost the whole community more money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't see like the wider scale of everything, you know. By providing period products, then you're helping everyone be lifted up, you know.
Exactly.
I also think something a lot of people don't think about is like the negative health effects for a period. Like if you leave a tampon in for too long, like that could be lethal. Like
Toxic
they
shock syndrome.
yes, they could have serious issues, and I think that's something a lot of people forget because they just think, oh, like so what? Like you can change it later. But that's not the
No,
case.
you're gonna die if you change it later. Toxic shock syndrome is terrifying. Like actually terrifying. Not, you know what else? When you leave your tampon in for too long, the blood can go like back up, and that could be blood poisoning, and you can die from that. Like it's not just like a oh well, like just like leave it in a little bit longer, a couple more hours. Like no, like you need to think about your life here, your
Mhm.
health, all of it. Like
And there's so many other options as well as just disposable options. You know, there's menstrual cups, there's menstrual discs, there's period underwear, there's like reusable pads. There, a lot of those, like the menstrual cups, don't work really well for like homeless people who are experiencing homelessness because they don't have a regular bathroom. But people who are low income could really benefit, although menstrual cups require a kind of intimacy with yourself. If you're not used to or interested
Yeah.
in that, then there's other choices. There's so many choices
Mm-hmm.
and so many different bodies, and not every choice works for every person.
Yeah,
right.
there's so much more than just the belt, you know.
Yeah,
Every period is different.
it is.
Yeah.
And things might not work. They might work for you during one period, but not for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, on your website, there was a video where you guys are just like talking about like your what you guys do and everything. Really inspiring. And I recall like this, just kind of like like conversation about like um if you're making like a minimum wage, but you also have a family. I mean, when it comes down to it, if you're making like $800 a month, I think it was, and it's that you're, once a month, if you have to buy a box of tampons, it's like literally $10,
Right.
which is a lot for if you're only making $800 a month and you have to feed your kids.
Right. Right. There's a lot of people who choose, am I going to use a t-shirt or am I going to buy product for myself? And, what do I need to feed my kids? And yeah, it's a hard
Right.
choice for a lot of people.
And Caitlin brought up a good point the other day. She's like, people are probably always going to choose food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think that because there are so many people that have to make the option like, do I buy food for my family or do I buy like period products? And usually I feel like it's always food that gets that wins the discussion because if there's like other people in the family, and it's
Right.
sad that women have to sacrifice like clean products.
And when we give product to people, like I've had people say, well, why do you give it away? You're taking the value away from it. So people are just going to waste the product. Like I don't think there's a black market for pads and tampons. But what you're doing is you're giving that mom and that family some peace of mind, because if we only give 20 products per bag, so it for some people that'll be enough for a whole period. For some other people, it's going to just be a little bit, but at least it's for that amount of time. They know that they have the product that they need, that they can go out and do stuff and be a contributing member of society, and they'll be able to take care of their kids and feed them.
Yeah,
What do
like
you
it
do?
gives them a sense of like security, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna ask because I think a lot of people just think about like one person who has a period, but like in a lot of households, there's more than one person who has a So do you give the bags to different, like if there's like a mother and her child, like would you give both?
Yeah, we give whatever they want. So if there's one dad that comes through one of our food banks and he has 6 daughters. So I know every time I see his car, I've got a case of stuff that I'm just going to give in it because, he doesn't even need to ask anymore. But yeah, it could
6
really add
daughters.
up. I
Yeah.
had one father who had just gotten custody of his daughters and they were all teenagers and there were 3 of them and he had no idea what to buy. He had no idea, like he didn't know that they were so expensive once he did go look to see, and didn't know that each girl might want something different. And so that was really, it felt really good to help him and explain what is available and what they might want.
Right. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about something else that Helping Women Period does. So on your website, you guys state that Helping Women Period focuses on helping victims of relationship violence who are denied access to resources because of systemic racism. So, what made Helping Women Period realize that systemic racism was impacting the struggle for women experiencing period poverty? It's a big topic, I know.
It is, but like a lot, it's just from being out in the community and I see who is taking the product that we're offering and who is at, who's at the domestic violence shelter. And we actually changed our logo this year because it used to be this girl and she was very white looking. And we thought this is not representative of who we are. It's not representative of who we give. Although I loved that logo. Now we're just a circle that says HWP. But, part of that was realizing that the people that we help don't look like me. and so that was really where we started writing that statement and looking and saying, okay, we're going to make a concerted effort to make sure that the people who aren't getting the product that they need, who don't want to come to the food banks. I do a lot of home deliveries for people who don't want to come to the food banks. And yeah.
Yeah, um, chances are that women of color, people of color are probably going to be the ones more likely to experience period poverty. And it's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah.
And would you say that period poverty is more present in BIPOC, which is Black Indigenous people of color communities? You kind of answered that already and said, yeah, but my kind of other question, I guess, is because we've seen that COVID and this pandemic has been mostly affecting like Black and brown people.
Mm-hmm.
How has COVID impacted period poverty for women, just in your experience, just throughout this whole year?
Well, it's a couple. It's just the need has increased tremendously. I mean, I can really, you even brought up our numbers and I can look back last year, first quarter, we didn't give out half as many products as we have already, so people are, and I don't think it's just, we've been around for 6 years. It's not like we're a new group or we're offering new things. It's really just, there's more people in need.
Right.
So
Yeah, on that video that you guys had on your website, it was this guy, and he was a father,
yeah.
and he was Hispanic, and he was talking about his wife and his daughter, and how his wife got sick, and that was when the period poverty issue started for them, because I mean, just now the money is an issue. Why is Zoom telling me that I'm running out of time?
I did.
Sorry. Did that pop up on your guys' screen too?
Yeah.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why. Okay. We have like 9 minutes left, I guess. But yeah, no, just that just reminded me, just like seeing you guys who are helping out like women. Oh, relationship violence. That was another thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we distribute to a couple different domestic violence shelters, and that's where the relationship violence came from. Like those are some of the groups that we donate to.
I didn't even know that like domestic violence could be a factor of period poverty.
Well, I think at least in our experience, the domestic violence shelters, people leave in the middle of the night with nothing and have to start all over. And so I think that's part of the reason.
Oh, that is like, yeah, that does make sense because like they I was sorry, I was trying to connect the dots and I was like, it is nice to help them, but what?
Right. Well,
But
I
I
mean,
also wanted
I'm sorry.
sorry. Oh,
No,
I
I
just
was.
wanted okay, sorry. I just also wanted to bring up that it must be like really rewarding for you to see that like people are recognizing that so many people are struggling now, and that's what's like give kind of not triggering them, but kind of allowing them to know that they have to give more or that they can give more.
I think any awareness is great, really. And, like you asked how I spread the word, I will talk to anyone. And even like in my town, I go to the grocery store and people say, hey, it's you, you're the period lady. And so, it's good.
The period lady.
Yeah, my kids don't go to the grocery store with me anymore.
So how can we spread awareness, or people who are listening to this interview, or people who want to spread the word about period poverty? How do you think they can do that?
I think you donate products to your local food bank, you talk about it, you follow some of these great menstrual movement people on social media and repost what they say. I think that's how we're going to have to get started. The next thing is to get more women into places of power, excuse me, like the Senate and the legislature, so that they can pass laws that help people with the period poverty. Because when I first started this, I thought it was covered. I thought WIC, Women, Infants, and Children, provided pads and tampons and diapers, and they don't. And I think that's it's really a sad state of affairs. But you know why they don't? Because it was men who wrote the laws, and they didn't even consider that this was a problem, and not that I'm male bashing at all. I just think that it was just out of
Go
their
ahead.
view.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm hoping that there's more male senators who are like, yes, I will stand up and get people what they need, because it just is the right
Because
thing to do.
there's women in the world.
Right. Because somebody who had a period loved you, or you love somebody who had a period.
Yeah.
Have a mother.
Your mom. Yeah, I was gonna say your mom. Got a
Who
wife,
probably
got a
never-
daughter, maybe.
Right.
Do you have any kind of closing remarks or anything? I'm so sorry. We have like Zoom is cutting me off. I don't know why.
It's fine. No, I think this was really a fun conversation, and I would love. It's one of my dreams to start having period cafes, so that other conversations like that with other people, so we can start talking about new ways of dealing with your period. Like the menstrual cup was created in the 30s. It's not that new. And period underwear, I think, are probably the newest thing on the block. But we have so many creative people. There's got to be other ways we can, other menstrual products we can use and create. And the more we talk about it, the more we educate, we get it into the curriculum. If it's biology, that's great. If we start talking about this in kindergarten, that would be even better, because then it's not going to be so weird and scary when you're a freshman or 7th grade and you already are like, my life is so weird and awkward anyway, you know?
Oh
Like,
yeah. Well, it was great talking to you. Thank you so much for being here. If anyone wants to donate, go to helpingwomenperiod.org. And you can also contact Lysne at helpingwomenperiod.org. Are you guys on social media?
we are on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn.
Cool.
And I can put all the links when I upload the interview, the video. So
Yes.
it'll all be there.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for talking to us. We really,
It was a
really
really fun
appreciate it.
topic to have, and it was a really like important topic too. So thank you.
I learned a lot.
Oh, well, I enjoyed myself too. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, we really appreciate what you guys do as well. You know, like we started this project because we want to also spread awareness.
Mhm.
So just to see different organizations doing what you guys do is really inspiring.
Oh, good. Good.
So
Well,
thank you.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
All right.
All right.
Normally Caitlin does a closing remark, right?
Yeah. So we are pressed for time, but thank you all for listening and watching. Thank you all for listening to this podcast, and thank you for joining us. Really, it was like we appreciate having you.
Well,
Go with the flow.
Right.
That's our tagline.
I love it. I love it. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
You too.